So Panasonic just announced the S1R2, their latest and greatest flagship full-frame camera. So is this the one, as they like to say? The TLDR of it, I would say, is that this camera is only worth it over an S5 II, which I use and love, if you specifically need higher resolution. If you do not, I think it's just not worth it. So the price, let's get to that, is $3,300 US. It's gonna have a 44 megapixel sensor, 8 stops of IBIS, so they've improved the IBIS, which is great. They say they've improved the autofocus, which is great. It can do up to 8K, cool. It can do up to 4K 120 with either minimal or no crop. Wasn't sure about that. It has active cooling, it has a high res mode. It can do internal 32-bit float audio with the XLR adapter. It can do the proxy video. It's got tally lamps, which is cool. It can do Capture One tethering, and it's got a new Cinelike A2 profile. Given all that, sounds pretty strong. And it seems that the Achilles heel for this camera, if I'm looking at the initial reviews that are out now on YouTube, is the sensor speed. Meaning the rolling shutter performance in most modes is not great. Now that's gonna mean different things to different people. If you're doing mostly sit-down interviews, rolling shutter is probably not gonna be that big of an issue, but if you're doing high energy moving shots, that can be an issue. And I want you to watch Gerald Undun's video. He goes over the different rolling shutter performances in detail, and that's very helpful. So on the S5 Mark II X, I like shooting open gate, and that people say is about 24, 25 milliseconds of rolling shutter. And in a lot of modes on the S1R2, it's over 30. And that gets pretty gnarly. So the other trade-off is that there is a dynamic range boost. To get up to that 14 stops of dynamic range, you need to have that enabled. And that also increases the read times. So it makes the rolling shutter worse. So that's gonna likely be the biggest consideration for this camera. And that's what my thought is at the moment, is that, you know, you can buy 2 S5 IIs for the price of one of these. So yeah, oh, I should also mention you can also do ProRes RAW internally. So that's pretty cool if you have a specific need for it. And it's got a lot of the other bells and whistles of the S5. So again, I'm gonna say that's my initial impression is I would only consider this camera if you specifically need those higher resolutions. So